All right, I have this Craftsman lt2000 riding lawnmower. That it will not move. It is the drive belt. So today I'll be showing you how to get the drive belt off and put a new one on. The belt size is A84. Right there's the length and how wide. So I'll be showing you what we got to do. First thing, we need to take the mower deck off. Alright, so we want to drop the mower deck. So we're going to drop it as low as it go. That makes it easier to get into the brackets that we got to take off to get the mower deck out so we can change this drive belt. So now what we got to do is there's pins right here. We got to pull that out. What's these? You got to push down and push up. Alright, so I couldn't take that pin out by myself or with just one hand, so I'd take it out without the camera. So I got that pin out. Now these should just pull right out. This is probably going to be in the way, but we'll work with that when the time comes. So we'll just let it sit there for now. Now we want to go to the other side. And the same thing, we want to pull that pin out. Same thing, the pin, well this one's only got it's got a nail here, so it shouldn't be a nail, it should be a pin. I'll put a pin in it later. Same thing, push that rod out, that should just come up. So now we're going to the front of the mower deck. And on this side, see that pin right there? We gotta get that pin out right there. And same thing, I'm gonna have to pull that down, so I gotta stop the camera to do it. And what I'm saying is, see this part right down here, you gotta push this up and pull away. And then that lets this pin release, because that's what locks right here. And then that should just sit there. We're gonna knock that off. Next thing we gotta do, get the belt off. So what you gotta do is just take that, push it down off the pulley. May have to, I'm hoping we don't have to take that off, but we may have to. Alright, so I went to the other side of the mower too, and I just pulled this down. It should just come out. There is, if you go on to, let's see, if you're looking at the mower, be the right hand side. If you're in front of the mower, there's a bolt that goes up right about here that holds this piece on. We may have to take that off here in a little bit when we go try to put this mower deck back on. But all right, now this is a pull row, or it's got a cable that I want to come with, so we got to be careful we don't yank on that cable. So we want to pull these rods up. So I have to get your arms down in there and grab that next one across. And something like that. Once you get them past it, it should just come out. Now the only one it's going to catch is the next one right here. So we want to fix it. Our next thing we want to do, because we can't go no farther out because this cable's maxed, we want to pull this pin. And that should just come, I had that cable maxed. That should just come pulling out there. Now we pull it out a little farther. Remember, your rod down here is probably holding you up. Alright, so I got the mower deck out now. Well, somewhat pulled all the way out. Now, there's this cable still that we have fence taken off, which is just a spring that pull up, push out. Comes out of that hole. Now, remember where this cable went. It went between this belt and that rod. So that's where it's got to go back to. I try to get you the best view as I can. Sometimes it's a little tight to do that. All I'm going to do is I'm pulling that out of the way. Alright, now, next thing is, you're going to want to jack this mower up. I have an overhead lift that I'm going to lift this mower up so I can work underneath. So be careful on that end. Make sure you have enough supports where, you know, it don't come down and smash you. All right, before we go any further, I forgot to mention that underneath your hood of your mower, I got this hood off for my ceiling lift. There will be numbers for a deck belt. It will say lower drive belt. These numbers right here is what you need to go to like a parts store or something like that to get your belt. So just remember, usually underneath your hood is the parts numbers. So, all right, so this bracket, like I was talking to you about, we're gonna have to take that off because we're gonna have to get this pulley off. So if you already took it off good, it is a 1/2 inch socket. So we're gonna take that bolt out there. Just remember where that bolt goes. What I normally do to be on the safe side, don't lose your washer. Just sling that bolt back through. Push your rod out of the way so it's not in the way. That should just come pulling out. I probably pulled that the wrong way. Yeah, push down, back towards your mower. It comes straight out. We'll get that started back in there and leave that set there so that it doesn't get lost and I know where it goes. All right, so next step. I know this thing's kind of in the way. We want to get this pulley off here. That's a 5/8 socket. I'm just letting you know that you probably want to use the impact on this. Just using a ratchet won't work too well because this motor just want to sit there and spin. As you can see, my hand spins it. So you want an impact to take this off. As you see, it just comes right off, loose, quick, nothing biggie. Oh, I hit the camera. Like I said, sometimes it could be in my way. So, all right, it dropped down, which is good. So go ahead and get that belt off there. Pull that pulley all the way off. Oh. Don't lose your shim. That goes in there like this. That shim goes up there like this. So just don't lose that. It sits right there. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, push your parking brake in and lock it in place. That gives you the slack of the belt. That's why I had so much slack, because my belt was already off these pulleys. It fell off. So before you started this, I should have mentioned it. Please put your parking brake in. That's probably why you're having problems where this pulley won't want to come down. So, because there's too much tension. So push your parking brake in, lock it in place. Now we're going to start right here. We're going to have to loosen these pulleys up here. All right, once that bolt's loose, you can pull that pulley will come down where you get your belt off. Same thing with the next one. We're gonna get them loosened. Well, I guess I'm not gonna have luck on this end to get anything loosened like that. All right, well, I'm having issues with these for some reason right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take this one off. This bolt right here that holds the last belt on. It's a 3/8 socket. And they don't have to come all the way off, just enough to get that belt passed. Same thing over here. Just take one of them, loosen it up. Don't have to be both. Oh, that one came off, which is fine. Just remember where it goes. Where it came from. Sometimes you fight with stuff and it just gets a pain in the butt. So now we're going to go down here on the bottom and get the belt off the clutch, or off the transmission. Which that's usually pretty simple. Just gotta get in here and kind of gotta pull on that metal a little bit. Yeah, that metal, it should bow out enough to push out. As you can see, I was pushing on it a little bit out. It should just come right off there. And once one side off, usually it jumps off the other side. Just got to fight with it a little bit. A little pry bar maybe if you got, but don't go too far where that metal bends. And I'm going to have to move this camera. All right, so opposite side. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the belt up and pull the belt from the opposite side, and it pulls it right out. Just don't get too crazy or don't break them fan blades right there, because they are very important to keep the transmission cool. So we want to take this belt and just keep on playing with it until it comes over top of them fans. And there you go. Now, we're gonna fight getting this one on here. This is a newer belt. It is a little thicker, it isn't as worn. Just gotta get it untangled a little bit. Same thing, we want to get this belt over top of that fan. Past everything over here. We just want to push that belt. Make sure you get that belt going towards the V pulley. And it should just slip in there. You see how that belt is right there? It's flat on this side. The V faces in. That's where you want that. Now we're going to do the same thing to this side. I'm trying to keep this belt from getting tangled and hitting the camera. So we want to do the same thing. And I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing. They are a nightmare to get in there, but it does work. Just got to push down. Once you get it so tight, you can grab that pulley without breaking your fan and just spin it a little bit. And as you see, it popped down in there. That's what you want. Make sure the back is all the way on, because there is a metal bracket in the back that if it ain't on there or in there, you'll smoke that belt. So just want to spin it to make sure that belt goes in there. Just like that. You can see now how easy it is to turn. These two brackets like this, there's one in the back. So what I done is I just spun it, and the belt just spent and went on there. Like I said, it could be a little bit of a nightmare, but it's a lot easier than taking all this stuff out right here and trying to take all this off here. If you want to, you can. You just got to take the battery out. There's a bolt on top that you take off to take that pulley off. So we're going to start right here. Get this belt put in there. We're going to start the easiest one first. So that goes in between there like this. We're going to get that started, and we're going to head tighten that up. Sometimes these could be a nightmare, trust me. All right, so now we got this one. Go ahead and put that on there. This pulley will come around. Our belt will come around this. Now, I don't understand. This should be a V pulley, but it's not. It's flat, but we're just going to leave it like it is. What we're going to do is give it some pressure, spin, and push that over top of it. It should go falling in there. It did. I just gave it a little pressure and pulled. It fell right in. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this one up. Just make sure you don't over tighten it and break it. All right. Now we're ready to go to the main pulley. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this pulley put back on. Don't forget your shim that goes up in there. We're going to go ahead and put that on now. It just goes up in there, the belt will hold it in place. Now, there's a little groove in this pulley right there. And there's a groove right here. That's for your pin. So you want to line that up with that and push it up in there. Now you want to get your belt put on there. You may have to push this pulley up there so far to get that belt on there. And just spin it. Then make sure your belts are past and into them keepers. And this should just come together. Then put your bolt and tighten that up. There you go. Belt's on. Now we're going ahead and put the deck back on. And like I said, I'm going to wait to put this bracket on until I put the mower deck on. So there's my bolt for it, because I'm going to have to get the belt put back on her, and it was kind of hard getting off. So it'll be a little harder to get back on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slide the mower deck on. If you want, you can try it out. Make sure your mower's going to work. Just the only bad thing is all these brackets that are hanging down and all your cables, if you run them over, you'll bend them or break them, so you don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and get the mower deck put back on. I know it's sad to do, but usually if you do what I just told you to do and showed you, you'll be all right. It's just, this mower deck is kind of a pain in the butt the way they design these. So you just got to keep on fighting with every little, both of these back here. You know what? I just messed up. See it? And I get a big rush sometimes. I should. Alright. We want to get this spring put back on. So that spring, you want to go underneath that hole and in. Let me move you. So yeah, so that spring, all it does is obviously go in that hole. So we need to push that deck a little farther in. On everything again. We want to get this cable put on, which it goes on this side of that bracket here. Make sure it goes on there. Okay. And then put your pen in there. I know you probably can't see much. I'm trying to show you the best I can. But so it goes right here. Just gotta find the hole and lock it in. There it is. I grabbed the pen. Oh yeah, there's a little O-ring or a little ring deal that needs to go on there first before you put your pin. I'll show you in a minute once I get this pin in there. Because a lot of these jobs you gotta have two hands. One hand just don't cut it. And if I had the right pins, would help too. Sometimes. There. All right, so I'll show you. Let's see. I can't get enough video, or enough point to our thing to show you. But before this pin, there's a little washer deal that you got to get pulled back and put in between that metal and everything. That's what keeps that locked in. Sometimes dealing with a drop light is a pain in you know what. They never set the way you need them to. So we're going to go ahead and slide this mower deck underneath there. Another point of view. It's kind of hard to show you when it's underneath there. But them rods, it's got to go in between these grooves here. So make sure it goes in between these grooves on both sides. Alright, so on this side of the mower, on either side, as you see, I took this rod, put it up. That flat bar went in between that part I just showed you. This flat bar goes in between that groove there. Then you grab this rod and put it through all those holes, through these holes right here, and then put a pin in it. Same thing on the other side. Alright, so we can go ahead and get our belt put back on. Just put it up on that pulley. Then while we're here, well, we probably want to get that piece that holds that belt on next. Definitely want to. So don't forget about that piece. That's this piece. We gotta get in there. We gotta take that bolt out. Kind of a little awkward to do it on the ground. Well, this is going to be the fun part. Normally I have everything lifted up. This time I couldn't do that. So you're just going to have to find that hole, which I'm going to have to move this camera. Alright, so once you get that bolt started in there, but before you do that, over here, that pin goes over here. You want to be in this second hole here. As you can see, there's 2 holes. You want to be in this front one. And that will be in the right spot. Just make sure your belt's on that pulley first. So, alright, we got that tightened up now. Now we go ahead and put that rod that's in front of that mower deck on. And here's that rod. So we're going to go ahead. This should just go right in that hole. You may have to wiggle the deck a little bit. Just go right in there. Put your pin in the hole. And there you go. And then you can lift your mower deck up back to where it needs to be at. Which sits on this side of that mower deck. Right there. There you go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.